Hey, everyone. Welcome to another Issues of State. I'm Dana Williamson with B.A.D, Blessed and Anointed Destined LLC, the original B.A.D Queen of the Roundtable. This issue of state combines B.A.D FBI. Now, let me give you a heads up, or those of you that know, let me give you a reminder. B.A.D FBI is the business, Blessed and Anointed Destined, and the ministry, Faith Bureau of Investigations. The business helps to support the ministry. So you will find that you will see things. I will share things about ministry or whatnot. I have a ministry business page or ministry page on Facebook. I Those of you know that I am ordained pastor as well as an affirmed and confirmed apostle. So now that I've said all of that, there's a reason behind the business supports the ministry. And I've been giving this reminder lately. So we're going to talk about a couple of things on issues of state today that has to deal with my release of the Prophetic Patterns to Prophetic Timing, as well as some books that have to be finished by the end of this year. God help me that I continue to work harder, diligently to get this done by December 30th. Today is December 19th, which means I have 11 days. Nonetheless, I've done it before, crunch time before, 11:59 on the 30th or even on the 31st. I've done it before. It'll happen. I'll be fine. We'll make it happen. Nonetheless, here's what I want to say to you. The reason why the business supports the ministry is because what I am supposed to do as Apostle Dana is not something that, has been the norm. People go out and they preach a message, they get called all over the states, the United States, different countries or whatnot, and they have this honorarium. So they get paid, quote unquote, to go out and share the word. I have always in my spirit said, you know what, I don't have an honorarium. Whatever the love offering is fine. But I also don't go out and preach a message just because, someone asked me to come preach a message. There's something specific that I'm called to do, which brings me to the prophetic patterns. And I really wanted this to be detailed on the prophetic patterns because there's something that we're missing. This is why this is an issue of state and it's part of bad as well as the bad FBI, basically. There's something that we're missing. And I say this constantly, and I'm really not sure why I have to say it over and over, but I say it enough that I want you to understand that what people have been saying or how people talk about prophets is not always, it's what they're comfortable with. It's not the full truth. I don't want to say it's a lie. I don't want to say it's not always true. It's just not the full truth. See, the full truth is there are different things that we see, hear, smell, feel. Okay. And I talk about this in prophetic patterns number one. But the extension of that is as it doesn't stay the same, you grow as a prophet. Okay. When you elevate in the prophetic, it isn't just what you see, it's how you see it, it's where you see it. It isn't just what you feel, it's what you feel, it's how intense that feeling is. It isn't just what you smell, it's how intense that smell is or what that smell is. Okay. And so, and how the Holy Spirit speaks to you. And that's a given. That's a given, that's a norm, that is the norm, how the Holy Spirit speaks to you. I think what a lot of us don't understand as prophets is now that I understand what I just said to you and how that happens, there's a sense of elevation after that. See, we go through these experiences, we help the people that God puts in place for us to help. Could be a stranger, could be someone we know. And then once we release the message or we release a teaching, something else has to happen. This is why I want to talk about prophetic patterns today and prophetic timing, because everything is in regards to timing. Everything is in regards to um the next thing. Because once I finish those books that need to be done, there's a sense of elevation that's going to happen. And I think maybe I probably been running from it. So at the time that I was supposed to be gone, those of you that know, I held myself back because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. There's that little bit of fear. Yes, yes. The Bible tells us that God did not give us a spirit of fear, okay, but a spirit of understanding, right? And so my understanding was, girl, finish this. This was last year. Finish this because you're in a pivot. Finish this. And I didn't. But I also feel and I feel like last year I knew what I needed to do as far as these books and this teaching. I knew that I needed to do that. But I also knew that I had to prepare. So I had to learn some things. I had to continue to strive for some things. And that got wibbly wobbly and off by the wayside. But I also knew when this year came that something different was happening. Like I'm totally off kilter with revenue goals, okay? But I knew something different was happening. And here's what the difference is. This year, 2024, is exactly 10 years that I wrote the original Prophetic Patterns. And so I'm like, okay, God, is this that timing? I had a conversation with a lady, and I think I said this before, but I had a conversation with a lady in the culture, and she said something had to do with her life. And whatever she said pressed on me to get done what I needed to get done. So I sat and I typed, and then it's just like, wow. Okay. Okay, I get it. I totally get it. So, Prophetic Patterns, book one, teaching one, was a lot about the differences the differences from the norm. Okay. Prophetic timing, which is Prophetic Patterns number two, is about how things come together and what that looks like. And I think one of the reasons why that isn't complete, because that book really could have been complete a couple weeks ago, but the reason why that isn't complete is because there was something that I was grasping onto that I needed to let go of in order for it to flow easily. Let me tell you what that is, and you'll find it in the book. That is the reality of who I am, but also where I'm going. So prophetic timing, if you look at let me share it with you like this. I've had many deaths this year that I'm like, Lord, can we get through the end of the year before something else happens? My nephew died in the early part of this year. Um, my best friend died in November. My brother died last November. And so those three deaths, and my another nephew was murdered last year. So those four deaths have really challenged me in the past year and a half. But this year has been a total weight on my shoulders because not only did I lose people from this life, they've gone on to the next life, I've lost friendships. And in losing those friendships, I'm looking at God like you're taking people away. Like, and he said you gave too much emphasis here. This friendship you were supposed to let go months ago. This here, losing your best friend, and the Holy Spirit has said this to me numerous times. Every time I feel like I don't have her to call, the Holy Spirit is saying, I need you to trust me. God needs you to trust him and solely depend on him. And so it's timing. Everything is prophetic timing. Um, I went on a fast a few weeks ago, not even a few weeks, probably a couple weeks ago. And I got some revelation in that fast. And then God called me to something just this past Monday. And I'm like, huh? Really? And it all comes down to prophetic timing, prophetic understanding, and listening to God completely. I said this in the previous issues of state, solely depending on God. Prophetic timing emphasizes that, and it also re-emphasizes where you were, that when you realize that as a prophet you were not part of the norm, This will go against what the people teach from their doctrines, but does not go against the Bible. It does not go against when Jesus took his two friends, Peter and I forget the other person's name, out to the mountain and they saw Isaiah and Moses, who had been gone for hundreds of years, but they saw them. See, God can do anything and God can do everything. So when you are a person who walks in the prophetic, when you are a seer, there are things that is for right now or for later. In the past month, God has been showing me things, as he always does, in visions and dreams. And the reality of those things is, and I've had to remind people, it is not the symbolism. It is not the symbolism any longer, not for me. It is whatever the facts are and how I perceive the facts and ask the Holy Spirit for clarity in those facts. It's about timing. There was elevation there. There was elevation there. There was elevation happening when the night my bestie passed away. There was elevation in the processes. There was elevation. And so here I am, okay, sharing this with you, wanting you to know that prophetic patterns 1 and 2 is for you when you know who you are, not for you to teach you how to be, just teach you and help you to walk in something. So I've created a prophetic patterns box. There is a pre-order link that I will put in the information here for you to purchase that box, to pre-order that box. Shipping will start to go out as soon as we can pull everything together. The shipping will probably start to go out the middle of January. But those there's some things that have to be finished. There's some bonuses that we're waiting to come in, but I really want those who want to tap into their profession. This isn't a book. Let me go back. This isn't a book or a teaching to teach you how to be a prophet. That, yeah, I don't even know why they have something called School of the Prophets. This is not to teach you how to be a prophet. This is for you to help understand who you are as a prophet. You already know this is the office that you walk in. This is the gift that you have. This is to help you to walk in it when strange things happening and no one can give you the answers. Why? Because you know what? I was there. I had a pastor who couldn't give me the answers. I have a pastor who could not help me. And it's just like, I don't understand when they said, you're the prophet. You're not going through these. How am I different? That's another thing. And I believe I talked about that in prophetic patterns 1, being an anomaly. Being an anomaly. How are you different? That's how you're different. So, um, prophetic patterns 1 and 2 is going to be part of the book box. We're also celebrating next year in March, Demia Willis FBI, which will be 10 years in March that it was released. And that came right after the prophetic patterns. So listen, let's do this together. I'm praying for you. I'm encouraging you. I'm hoping that you get what you need to get to receive what you need to receive from God, from the Holy Spirit, from the directive within prophetic patterns. So, this has been the issues of state because that is an issue of state. We are not the norm. Those of you that know we are not the norm, and we have to understand once we take on that reality, that realization, elevation happens. God bless. Have a wonderful rest of your day.